This set of slides was a real headache for me because I had to chart out everything based on a real experience. You're going to recognize the final picture, but I want you to imagine that somebody new is going through a convention following somebody who's more experienced with a convention. This happened at the Emerald City Comic Con this year. You've even heard the story if you've been watching the videos. So this shouldn't be too much of a surprise for you. So let's continue. First off, we have to look at the equation that's being given. We have priority, reflex or unconscious thought, emotional stress and anxiety, unconscious stress. And then we have things that will give us energy, health and emotional joy. And we're going to say these are mental calories because I don't have a better term for it. Sorry. And you're going to notice that the P, there's too many P's in this set of equations because another equation actually has to work into this equation, and that's based on how much you like or dislike a subject and how they get added together and stuff. And I'm going to have to guess some numbers here, so don't judge it too much. We need better research on the subject, but I'm just presenting it to you. More of a description now than anything else. But let's go forward. So I took everything, I put it into a charting file, not charting, data file type thing, and then I made some charts out of it, some line graphs, and you can kind of see the story as it goes along here. So let's move forward. We have likes and dislikes. Like is in blue and dislike is in red, in the one on the far left, and then right, and then the center is the priority being given, and then the one on the far right is how many calories are being taken and how many calories are being given, so the total calories that have been taken from the event. So let's go. So we're just walking through the convention. I've taken her around. She's been kind of amazed. She both likes and dislikes it, a lot. There is a lot there to see. And this is giving her an extra bit of priority, though it's not as strong as people would think. It's at a 0.75 priority. And she has a little bit of health given to her, and she's like, okay, yeah, this is nice. And once again, there's not a lot taken. So the calorie threshold is around 1.5 for that moment. Or for the total, at any given moment, that's how much is being burnt through her mind at going around. Then she sees some cosplayers from a character she really, really likes. And she's like, oh. And so, she likes that character, but she just feels so disconnected from them that she doesn't know how to respond. And then her priority for this is, kind of a drop because it's kind of scary to her. And, not a lot of health is given because her body kind of shuts down. Everything kind of goes to reflex. She gets in a bunch of emotional stress. And a bunch of stress is taken because she sees it and she's like, I could get their picture. I know this is possible, but, it's okay. It's okay. And the total taken is just phenomenally high. It's at 9.35, I believe. And she is just scared out of her mind, but it's there. She's ready to do things. And I asked her, well, do you want to do this? And she's like, well, no, it's okay. It's okay. And so I walk over to these guys and I go, and while I'm doing this, she starts to freak out. But her begins to rise. She's like, well, somebody's doing this, but I really dislike it. My level of disliking is staying at the same. And the priority kind of jumps because she doesn't know. So her mind kind of goes into active mode. And her health is kind of given a bit of joy. And what's taken is drops a little. So she's kind of nervous. And at this point we see another drop where, she kind of closes down a little so that it isn't too scary for her. And then I ask them, and they say, yes, of course. Of course we can take their picture. And at this point, she is at this major high. She can't believe it. She has just been told she can totally take their picture, and they start to pose for her. And her dislike is actually raising because she's so nervous on the fact, but it's just phenomenal for her. And it just takes all of the priority from her mind. And this is at a 1.67 rate, so she's liking it a lot. And her health is just filled with joy, and emotional joy is pushing into her. It's the same health-wise, but her emotional joy pushes in. And, a bunch of her emotional stress and all that is taken away because, everything is gone, and she's just able to relax, and her body kind of lets her slump a little. And so because of that, it's barely taking any calories at all, and it's just this amazing moment for her. Almost dreamlike. And then during this time, they pose, and she takes a picture of them. And during this time, she likes it. This is the height of her liking it, because she is taking a picture of somebody she wanted to take a picture of. And her dislike is steady. And her priority is kind of a bit different. It's still rising up, because she gets to have this moment. And what didn't you know it? She's being given all of this extra health because she gets to do stuff. And most of the stuff has gone into reflex mode at this point, because she knows what she's doing, and she's kind of ready to do what's needed. And once again, she's at a point where she's just so ecstatic that her energy levels are just bounding off the roof, and she's like, oh, this is amazing. I can do this. I can do this. And the end result is she is at a higher point for her priority than she is at her like and dislike. Or her like and dislike end at the same point, so she ends up with a 1. She is perfectly happy right now. And her given energy is dropped, because now she's back to ordinary, but it's just slightly higher than it was beforehand. And her taken is, once again, higher as well. But in total, she's taking up more calories. She's seeing all this stuff. She is happy, and she is going through this amazing moment. And because of that small moment, she really likes the convention. And here's the picture. It's the two people from over the garden wall, and we were at the 501st museum thing. We didn't have any cash to just kind of throw in and walk in, but there was this was her first time somebody was just like, yeah, you can take our picture. Or this is the first time I asked somebody to take a picture, and she was so nervous about it. She's like, no, it's okay. No. She was just nervous. She was scared. And they were like, of course. That's why we dressed up. And they immediately posed, and my cousin was just overwhelmed with all of this stuff, and she just took the picture, and she was so happy. And immediately afterwards, she said, I want to start dressing up for the next convention. What should I dress up as? And that's how they did it. Just having that moment, that single moment, that religious moment, is what convinced her that the convention was good and she should put more effort into it. From the outside circle, she moved in a little bit. And that's the story. I tried to chart everything out, so then, you feel that there's a scientific basis for everything. But I've got to admit to you, I don't know if that's an accurate interpretation. It's to the best of my abilities. But that doesn't mean that it is perfect. So when you watch this video, I want you to chart out another moment for yourself. Whether it was good or bad, it doesn't matter. Just chart it out. Just go moment by moment. When I first did a charting of this, I actually did a moment where a woman has somebody run at her because she dropped her wallet. And she doesn't know what to do. She doesn't know why he's running at her. So she pulls out a gun and shoots him. And it's just because it was happening so fast. Her priority and all of that stuff just took up a bunch of extra calories. She did not respond correctly because she wasn't trained on what to do when that situation is there and she had a gun. So she shot the guy. But in this case, it's a very good experience. There's people that she likes. Somebody asks if they can take their picture, and they're posing, so she immediately gets their picture. And this happened a couple of times throughout the thing where she was nervous. She didn't know if somebody would say yes. And I was like, no, they're dressed up. They want to have their picture taken. Believe me. And by the end of it, she was talking about costumes she was ready to wear, and she was convinced that this was ready for her. So the next video will be on how people can use this kind of experience to either create a negative or a positive, or even, create various ideas throughout the characters. And I don't know what I'm going to use, but I'm going to try using a movie, I think, or that's my thoughts right now, on how to hate a character, like a character, and have the story arc happen within them. And we're going to watch that next week. Hey, Dave. Yes, Dave is now internet famous. So, catch y'all later. I need to make the slides for that. And you know what? I am not going to put in as much effort as I did for this one. So, catch y'all later. Bye now.